Hey, how you doing? Justin here. Today we are checking out Eric Clapton's lead lines for his version of Tore Down, which is a Freddie King blues classic from the Clapton album Cradle to the Grave. There's some really, really nice parts in this. We're not looking at the solos. We're looking at the kind of the melodic parts that answer the vocal, okay? It's pretty standardized in the way Clapton does it. He does it really consistently, the same sort of licks, or the same few licks. So I'm going to take you through those licks. If you want to get into doing like the main solos, you definitely want to start transcribing that one yourself. There's some really, really tasty licks to steal. I may do it in the future if there's enough requests for it, but generally speaking, if you're at the point where you can play those sort of solos, you really want to be trying to do as much of the transcribing yourself. So I'm going to take you through each of the 4 main licks that you're going to need to be able to piece your way through this tune. Again, listen to the original Eric Clapton one. You'll soon hear which one goes where. I will explain about where it fits in the 12-bar sequence, but do go and check out the Freddie King ones as well, especially if you've learned these licks. You won't find it too difficult to tweak them up a bit and learn the kind of the authentic Freddie King licks, which is where Clapton would have got most of these ideas from anyway. So let's get to a close-up and check them out. Okay, that's the very first lick that's happening right in the intro. Starting with the 3rd finger on the 10th fret of the 2nd string, then 8th fret on the thinnest string, then 10th fret on the thinnest string with a semitone bend. Okay, this last note, the bend is falling on beat 1 of the 2nd bar. So these, the 10 and the 8, are falling on the 2nd and 3rd triplets of beat 4. So if we're thinking the count, 1, 2, 3, 4 triplet 1. Okay, so 4 triplet, and then the bend. Okay, you're really just thinking mostly about the bend being on beat 1. You should be fine. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. So starting just after beat 4, if you think 4. Then we've got a full tone bend on the 11th fret thinnest string right on beat 3. Then we've got a little curl on the 11th fret. So we're starting with no bend at all. And then it's just like it's not even a semitone bend, it's a quarter tone bend. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4 triplet, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we've got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. Okay, this is 8th fret on the thinner string, 8th fret on the 2nd string, 11, 8, 10, 10 on the 3rd string, okay? 8 on the thinnest, 8 on the 2nd. Now here, you have to roll the 1st finger. You're starting with it slightly flatter than you might normally. You don't want to start really pointy. You want it laying down a little bit more than usual. Then it rolls onto the tip. Little finger on the 8th fret. Clapton probably used his 3rd finger there. It wouldn't really matter which one you want to do. 8th fret, then 10th fret here. Again, you're going to put the finger a little flatter than you might normally. And then roll it onto the 10th fret of the 3rd string. Then it's 8th fret again on the 2nd string, and then back to that note on the 10th fret on the 3rd string. So that bar, the 3rd bar. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Alternate picking all the way, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. 2nd bar, down the minor pentatonic scale. 8th fret on the 3rd string, 10th fret on the 4th string, 8th fret still on the 4th string, and finishing on the 10th fret of the 5th string. Okay? Not particularly hard, that part. So that whole of that front, nice and slow. 2, 3, 4 triplet. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Okay, and again, 3, 4 triplet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4. A couple of things that I should point out that I'm just trying to observe myself, which is kind of weird. This note needs to be muted at the top. Now sometimes I'm using the outside of my thumb there to be able to mute. Sometimes I'm using the heel of my hand. Doesn't really matter which one ever you know, whatever feels good for you to do it. And again here, mute, mute. So both of those you don't want. That just sounds horrible. It's going to sound really out of tune if you don't get them muted. So mute, bend, mute, mute. And here on the 8th fret on the 3rd string, beginning of the 4th bar. Okay, there's a little curl there with the first finger. I'm just pushing it up a little bit. Very common kind of Clapton and Freddie King. Blues. It's a blues curl on the note that should be curled almost every time you hit this note in this key, the key of C, the minor 3rd. It's the same here. We've got that little curl there. There's the curl. It's the same note. Okay, we're bending the E flat in the key of C. Okay. Okay. So then we're into the verse. So I'm tore down, I'm almost level with the ground. You know, classic Eric Clapton being Albert King lick here. We're going to start with the 3rd finger on the 11th fret of the 2nd string, tone bend. Then 8th fret on the thinner string, 11th fret to 8th fret, flick off, 3rd finger to 1st finger. Then 3rd finger is going down on the 10th fret of the 3rd string. It's going to do a tone bend and release. Flick it off to the 8th fret. Then 10th fret on the 4th string. 8th fret again on the 3rd string. Back to the 10th fret on the 4th string. So finishing on the root. Okay. To get the rhythm for this, the first part is fairly simple. So the bend is starting, the first bend is starting on the and after 2, and then the little 8, 11, 8 is the a triplet on beat 4. So 1, 2, and 3, 4 triplet. Now the next little bit can be a bit tricky. Easiest way to think of it is just to remove the bend to start off with, and just think of it as 1 triplet, 2, and 3, 4. So 1 triplet, 2 and 3, 4. So the whole lick without that bend on the 3rd string would be 1, 2 and 3, 4 triplet, 1 triplet, 2 and 3, 4. And again, 1, 2 and 3, 4 triplet, 1 triplet, 2 and. Okay? But on the first part of that triplet on beat 1, 1 triplet, it's. That's the rhythm. Worth practicing that as a lick, because again, a really, really common kind of a blues thing is having this. Triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet. Okay, it's really, really common. So you want to get used to being able to put that feel in, this little bend up on the triplet. I guess it's dividing the triplet into a couple of 16th notes at the beginning. 1E triplet, 2E triplet, 3E triplet, 4E triplet would be the kind of count, but it gets a bit awkward, a lot easier to just kind of hear it, I think. So that whole lick, 1, 2 and 3, 4 triplet, 1 E triplet, 2 and 3, 4. Even slower, I think. 1, 2 and 3, 4 triplet, 1 triplet, 2 and 3, 4. Okay, much easier to feel the rhythm for that. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. You know, and it's blues. It's a bit across the beat anyway. It doesn't have to be quite so mathematically perfect as that, you know. But it wants to be in time. I'm not trying to give you license to not play in time, but you know, blues is a little freer rhythmically than some other styles might be. Great, fantastically. Okay, really good lick to learn as an answer to a vocal kind of thing. So then it goes to the F, down. I'm almost level with the ground. Okay, this is a Freddie King lick that Clapton's just taken it straight from the Freddie King playbook, man. It's awesome. 11th fret on the thinner string, tone bend. Then we've got that little curl like we had at the beginning. Just a little quarter tone bend on the 11th fret thinner string. Okay, triplet going 8th fret on the thinner string, 8th fret on the second string, 10th fret on the third string, 8th fret on the third string, finishing on the root, the 10th fret on the 4th string. And actually we've got that little curl on the 8th fret on the 3rd string as well. The trick here, the part that most people will struggle with here is picking and getting the roll working. So first finger has to roll, again, slightly flatter than usual on the 8th fret on the thinner string, rolls onto the tip for the 8th fret on the second string. You just want to practice doing that one little bit. Picking wise, you want to be doing down, up, down, up, down. So here, down, 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 up, down, down, up, down. Can't say that. Down, 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 up, down, up, down. Four, 1, 2 and 3, 4, 1 triplet, 2 and 3, 4, 1, 2 and 3, 4, 1 triplet, 2 and 3, 4, 1, 2 and 3, 4, 1 triplet, 2 and 3, 4. Yeah, it's an all-time classic, that one. So then we've got a little bit more vocal again, and we've finally got the kind of the turnaround lick. Okay, turnaround mainly because it's finishing here on the G note, okay? This first part, I mean, this is an all-time, every blues guitar player should know that lick already anyway, but third finger, 10th fret, 3rd string, tone bend, first finger, 8th fret on the 2nd string, rolls over, 8th fret on the thinnest string, to little finger on the 11th fret, and then that'll actually flick off eventually to the 8th fret on the 2nd string. One trip, it's actually happening on beat 2, but 1, 2, triplet, 3, and you could cycle that. Can you notice that the notes are nice and defined as well? It's not or any of this stuff. So what you do after the bend is off, it's getting muted by my picking hand. And as the string's releasing here, it's kind of releasing onto the tip of my first finger. So my first finger is sitting up enough that when I release the string, it's kind of being muted by the tip of the first finger. I often hear people either getting that as an open string or it just ends up getting a bit sloppy. But bend, mute, and as you take your fingers off, the first finger should be muting that the third string, and then the first finger is doing a bit of a roll again here. So you can see just that little movement of the first finger means that we're not getting this. Sometimes that's cool. In this particular lick, we want them to be separated. So you want to practice just being able to roll that first finger. It's just the knuckle of the first finger moving up and down. It's only a very small movement, but it's important. Then we've got that same lick again that I just talked about. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet. Okay, very similar to well, that last bar is exactly the same as the first lick. Little curl even on the... So it's kind of a mixture of a couple of the other licks that we've checked out. One, 2 triplet, 3 and 4 triplet, 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2 triplet, 3 and 4 triplet, 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2 triplet, 3 and 4 triplet, 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1. Now for the stops, the Clapton part, that's pretty much what's going on. So it's just a top part of a C chord. Sounds like he's playing just the thinnest 3, but when I look at it, when I watch live videos, it looks like he's playing that grip. So he's holding that down, probably playing the thinnest 3 strings. Then there's this little, so third finger is going down, starts just playing the 10th fret on the 4th string, then lays down flat to play the 10th fret, 2nd and 3rd string. Then we're going to play the 8th fret on the 2nd and 3rd strings and hammer the 2nd finger down onto the 9th fret. Okay, and it's just, again, it doesn't get used all the time, but it's a nice little fill to have there. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So the and after 3 and beat 4. And 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, really, really nice little lick, that one. So while we're here, we may as well check out the very final turnaround lick as well, the outro lick, which is this. Really, really cool lick again, this one. So this is 8th fret, 10th fret on the 2nd string, 8th fret on the thinnest string, then 10th fret, semitone bend, release, 8th fret, 10th fret, 8th fret again, then 11th fret, kind of semitone, curl, somewhere between a curl and a semitone. And we've got this little, it's a D flat 9 to C9, I guess, would be the chord. This is 9th fret, 8th fret, 9th fret on the 4th, 3rd and 2nd strings. Moving down a semitone to get to the C9. 1 and 2 and 3 triplet, 4 and 1, 2 and 3, 4, and again 1 and 2 and 3 triplet, 4 and 1, 2 and 3, 4, 1 and 2. Well, there's sure a whole lot more to learn if you want to check out this song in more detail and learn some of the solos, but hopefully this has given you a bit of an insight to playing the main licks, which are the ones that you'd be wanting to play at a jam night, because they're kind of, even though they're licks, they're kind of part of the song, you know, they've become more than just a lick. They're a phrase or a kind of a melody element to the tune, separate to the improvised solos. But I definitely recommend getting into the Freddie King and Eric Clapton solos, trying to steal as many of the licks as you can. And definitely from Freddie King, there's so much fantastic material. He was such a massive influence in the blues genre. You definitely want to be checking out as much of his music as you can. And do try and get into transcribing the solos. I know I go on about it a lot, but you know, learning solos by ear really is the right way to do it. It's how Eric Clapton did it, right? He didn't go getting tabs off the internet. He listened to the records over and over and over again until he absorbed it properly. And if you're not transcribing, you're probably not listening to records the same way. And I don't want to make myself sound like an old man, but kids these days, they don't listen properly. You know, when I was a lad and listening to this sort of music, we'd get a record and we'd, you know, aside from the fact that it cost quite a lot and we'd have to, it was a bit of an effort to get hold of the music in the first place, you really spent a lot of time, really quality listening to this stuff over and over and over again, because we didn't have this infinite supply of music to listen to, that we really paid attention in a detailed way to the music. Even if you weren't a musician, I think you did that. You got to know the music better. But as a guitar player, you know, you spend a lot of time listening to this stuff over and over again and trying to absorb it. And I think that it's a bit easy these days for people like me teaching stuff, you know, to just kind of grab it really quickly and not give the attention to the music, the original music that it deserves. So if you want a really big tip on becoming a better guitar player, it's really listen to the stuff that you're learning. Really listen to it over and over and over again and try and absorb it. And when you're playing along with it, try and practice it to the point where you almost can't tell that, you know, between you're practicing the part and the Eric Clapton original part, or the Freddie King one, whatever it is that you're learning. You know, really try and take it to that detail, get the timing right, get the dynamics right, the way that you're picking, the amount of attack you're giving it to, you know, how you're giving the note. I often try to imagine myself as being that person and trying to feel what they were feeling when they were playing it. I know that we're kind of getting beyond just normal guitar skill stuff now. It's getting a bit deeper, but that's kind of where I think the really good stuff lives, is trying to get beneath just the surface of the notes and the dynamics and trying to capture the intention behind it, if that's even possible. I don't know, maybe it's just my imagination, but that's what I feel like I'm doing when I'm learning a solo like that, or learning the licks or whatever, you know. So hopefully this has been interesting and fun for you. Do jam along with the original recording. You won't regret it. It's a really great experience, and I hope you get to jam this either with me one day maybe, or at a jam night or whatever. And do subscribe to my channel if you dig what I do. It's really appreciated, your support. And go and check out the website. All of this stuff is all organized as a whole blues league guitar course. So if you're struggling with your string bending or getting the mutes right or doing your blues curl, go and check out my essential blues league guitar course, or the all over blues league guitar, which teaches you playing around the neck and all of that stuff. So lots of information if you're getting into your blues guitar over on the website. Do go and check it out. See you for plenty more very soon. You take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.